Sorry, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Namaste, my name is Amish Tripathi, the Minister of Culture at the High Commission of India in the UK, and I'm also the Director of the Nehru Center here. Welcome, thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful summer day. I will be your host for today. We are celebrating the 6th International Day of Yoga. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has said often that India's health management system, our traditional health management system, Ayurveda, yoga, are a holistic system of managing health. Unlike Western medicine, which tends to be curative, it comes into play only after a problem has already begun. Whereas Ayurveda and yoga give equal attention, if not more, to prevention as well. And the COVID pandemic has truly brought out the benefits of being fundamentally at a healthy level. Like those with comorbidities have suffered a lot more during this COVID pandemic. And this makes the 6th Yoga Day that much more important and critical. And one of the insights that was given to us from Delhi was that yes, people are stuck at home, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't do yoga, because yoga is something which, if you do daily, is extremely good for your health, for your mind, for keeping stress at not at elevated levels. And therefore, the theme that was thought of was Ghar Ghar Se Yoga, yoga from every home. I'll not take any more of your time. Before we start with the main program, if I may request, I'm sure our Acting High Commissioner Charanjit Singh ji would have joined by now. If I may request him to say a few words before we start with the main program itself. Sandeep, if you could unmute Charanjit Singh ji, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, Charanjit Singh ji is the Acting High Commissioner of the High Commission of India in the UK, an IFS officer, and the leader of our group out here. And if I could request you, Charanjit Singh ji, to say a few words on this August occasion.
Thank you, Amish. Thank you very much. And very good morning to all our friends who have joined us from the UK, and a very good afternoon to all of you who are joining us from India, particularly Dr. Tanuja Nesari and Dr. Nagendra. And first of all, my greetings to all of you on the 6th International Day of Yoga. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are not celebrating it in large gatherings as we had been doing since the first global celebration of the Yoga Day in 2015 at the initiative of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. However, the day today is being celebrated with the same or even more zeal and fervor this year under a very apt theme, Yoga at Home, Yoga with Family. High Commission and the Nehru Center, we are organizing a large number of events with the willing cooperation of yoga lovers and associations. We are trying to reach out to different sections of people in the UK in this time of pandemic, which has affected a large number of people in many subtle ways. We are doing yoga with children, with the NHS staff, with police, and many others. Yoga was conceived at the dawn of civilization about 5,000 years ago in India. As the Indian civilization continued to march ahead, Vedas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and many great works were produced, crystallizing deep philosophical ideas of the Indian philosophy, which would last forever. However, yoga continues to remain the fundamental vision of life. During this time of global health crisis and stress, Indian philosophy and yoga have become even more relevant than ever. 3,000 years 3,000-year-old Katha Upanishad says, "He whose senses are uncontrolled, who is not tranquil, whose mind is not at rest, he can never hope to attain the true self, not even through knowledge." It also says, and I quote, "The Supreme Being is formless and cannot be discerned by the senses. Hence, all knowledge of the eternal must be acquired by the most subtle faculties. And these are developed only through the purifying practice of meditation." As we all know that yoga quite literally means to unite mind with body, to unite oneself with the mother nature around us, and to unite oneself with the higher self, which is in us and is all pervasive. Practice of yoga leads one through each of these three stages of unity and harmony, and in that order. However, I would like to stress that we would be committing a grave mistake if we take yoga as just a simple physical exercise. It is much more than that. Together with one's body, it also trains one's mind. Today, we live in a world which is afflicted by turmoil, and now with COVID-19 pandemic, the state of mental and physical health have deteriorated considerably. It is estimated that about 70% of costs incurred on health are on chronic diseases and disorders like diabetes, heart diseases, hypertension, arthritis, and so on. There are hardly any permanent solutions to these, either through medicine or through surgery. Yoga comes in handy in such situations, and doctors across the world agree that the inner peace is essential for a healthy healthy immune system and healthy body, and also to control over one's mind, so that you can achieve at the first step of unity and harmony, the unity between body and mind. Patanjali, the well-known author of Yoga Sutras, describes the mind as a restless monkey which is constantly distracted. However, meditation can help control the frenetic activities of the mind and achieve inner peace and harmony. Through yoga, we are able to land in a peaceful sanctuary away from the turmoil of the world. This state of mind and inner balance helps our body and immune system to become stronger. It is essentially the balance within us which protects us and heals us. And I'm sure when our learned speakers, Dr. Nesari and Dr. Nagendra, they will tell you that how to achieve this inner balance, and if this balance is disturbed, what are the consequences, and how our body becomes ill. And in this time of COVID-19, inner harmony and peace of the spirit within us are most essential things to fight the pandemic. This is our first and the most natural defense against the ongoing pandemic and all other diseases. Sustained practice of yoga and meditation would promote overall wellness, a healthy body, and a healthy mind. We must also remember that yoga is first based upon yama, that is moral discipline, and niyama, that is observances. This is the ethical foundation of life, and it is the basis of yoga. In essence, yoga is the Indian philosophy in action. It shows us the path away from our fears and confusions of the world to a sanctuary of peace which can be found within. It points the way to love and harmony, which would be our best shields against the perils of the virus as well as of general ill health. Our balance and peace are the foundations of our immune system. If we can preserve that, we remain much stronger and much less susceptible to diseases. Before I conclude, I would like to thank my colleague Amish Tripathi, Director of the Nehru Center, my other colleague, Mr. Manmeet Narang, who is Minister of Coordination, Ms. Yamuna, Counselor Technical Advisor, Mr. Amarjit Singh, Counselor Coordination, Mr. Brij Gohare, Deputy Director of the Nehru Center, and other colleagues of the High Commission, and all yoga lovers and associations who are working with us for celebration of the 6th International Day of Yoga. And I thank you all for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charanjit Singh ji, our Acting High Commissioner of the High Commission of India in the UK. Before we begin the main program with Dr. Nagendra ji and Dr. Nesri ji, may I request my colleague Sandeep to please play the address from our Honorable Prime Minister, which was recorded in Delhi and sent to us. And there will also be a short yoga session. Sandeep, if you could just start that video, please. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Friends, greetings on the 6th International Day of Yoga. I'm very happy to note the growing popularity of yoga in the last few years, and especially among the youth. We are marking the 6th Yoga Day in extraordinary times. Usually, Yoga Day is about public event, mass participation. This year, Yoga Day goes indoors. The theme of the year is Yoga at home and yoga with family. Friends, the world is fighting a pandemic of monumental scale, but yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to the multiple challenges COVID-19 has brought. Yoga gives you the opportunity to know your immune system better and put in the extra efforts where needed. Yoga has the potential to cater to mental, physical and psychological challenges. It puts to test how one can live in challenging times. Friends, yoga offers something for everyone. It enables strong mind and healthy body. In the post-COVID era, the focus on preventive healthcare will get stronger, and that is why I'm confident that yoga will become even more popular. Friends, these are times of distancing. But do you know that yoga is what ends distance? It is said, Yujjate aneni yoga. Yoga is that which joins or brings things together. Yoga ends various kinds of distance. Distance between our mind and body, which is the root cause of many problems. Distance between the life we have and the life we want to have. Distance between our expectations and reality, which can become a source of stress. Friends, the regular practice of yoga gives emotional strength and empathy. We begin to understand that others would be going through the same struggle as us. So, we become a shoulder of support for someone in need of it. Friends, the COVID-19 pandemic may have reduced our mobility, but it should not affect our enthusiasm towards yoga. People have been sharing innovative ways to practice yoga in times of the pandemic. They are also sharing how they will mark Yoga Day on the 21st. This is a great sign. This time, small is smart and small is good. Respecting the present situation, let us mark the 6th International Day of Yoga from our homes, with our family, and let us follow all norms of social distancing. Let us make yoga more popular and our planet healthier. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Sandeep, is there a yoga session as well, or do we start?
We done, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Welcome back once again, and we will begin with the main program right now. And I am honored, deeply honored, to be introducing the Guruji who will be taking us through the first session, Dr. H.R. Nagendra ji. ME and PhD mechanical engineering is a truly Indian example of an ethereal combination of the left brain and the right brain. He is the Chancellor of S. Vyasa, Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhan Samsthana. And in his earlier years, he has worked in the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, the NASA Marshall Spaceflight Center, and the Harvard University, all in the engineering and space tech space. And now, of course, he is one of the foremost and greatest yoga teachers in the Holy Land of India. He's been recognized repeatedly by various reputed organizations. The Government of India honored him with the Padma Shri Award in 2016. He received the Rotarian Award in 2016, Alumni Award of IISc Bengaluru 2015, Light of Yoga Award from the Hindu Students Council, New Jersey, USA in 2015, Global Peace Award in UNO Hall from Sri Swami Madhvananda World Peace Council, Vienna 2015, and Bharat Gaurav Award from right here in the British Parliament in 2015. Guruji, I know I speak for the Acting High Commissioner Charanjit Singh Ji, the High Commissioner of India in the UK and the Nehru Center, that we are deeply honored that you are gracing our platform and you are going to guide our audience through the ethereal magic of yoga. Guruji, if you could begin your session, please. Nagendra Ji.
Thank you very much, Tripathi Ji. Last time, we had a good opportunity to be in London. Our Tanuja and myself both were there and shared our wisdom to all the people in London. And I also thank the High Commissioner Charan Singh Ji for being with us today in this wonderful online program live. I congratulate the High Commission and also Nehru Center for organizing this beautiful program. As beautifully mentioned by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji today morning in the wonderful lecture that he gave, yoga is the one that is spreading everywhere. COVID has brought bigger challenges. Yoga has a solution to deal with these challenges. And how is it possible? When the modern medical world had no vaccine, no medicine to deal with this corona and the COVID-19, how can yoga bring about the necessary solutions? We know that yoga brings the holistic health dimension to everyone. In particular, we have a very strong immune system. And when you look at the various viruses, we found that this coronavirus which has come now is the biggest among them. In the volume, it's about 0.025 microns. But we have very strong army of white blood cells. And these white blood cells are very, very big, even in volume, almost 100 times bigger than the corona. Similarly, the number-wise, if you take the coronavirus, maybe in thousands or maybe a million, but WBCs are in billions. So we have very strong army to fight out this virus. Similarly, when the corona by chance, if it enters through our nose down into the respiratory system, we have got our border security force in the natural killer cells. And with this strong army and the BSF we have here, we can easily hold off this corona attack. This can all happen when our immune system is kept in its healthy system. But if the immune system is suppressed, is weakened, and is perverted, two things can happen, and the corona can hit us and we get infected. So why does the immune system get into this mode of weakened system and also the perverted system? It's all due to stress, the wrong way of life, stressful way of life. And when we are quarantined or we are locked down in our houses, invariably the general tendency is that the fear comes up, the stress increase, the anxiety develops, and a number of mental imbalances start hitting us because we are not used to stay home. Many of the people have been saying for the first time in our life, we have been in the house for nearly 2 to 3 months. And in such a case, the general tendency of the human mind is that you get restless and you are thinking when I'll be out of this thing and when this corona is going to subside, when our curves can be flattened and all these things, anxiety and stresses will all start increasing more and more. And it is this type of anxiety, the fear, the stress in general are the root cause for suppression of the immune system. A lot of research has undergone the world over several decades, showing that stress has a strong immunosuppressant factor. And that's the root cause for even many NCDs like asthma, diabetes, hypertension, heart problem, epilepsy, migraine, and cancer even. So yoga plays a very important role in bringing the stress modulation to bring about the deep relaxation dimension to ward off the stress. Thereby the immune system can work very efficiently. As all of us know, yoga is not merely a set of asanas or a pranayama or mudras, bandhas or kriyas as beautifully brought out by our High Commission. It is the science of holistic living. It's a way of life. According to Ayurveda, it has 4 dimensions: ahara, vihara, vichara, and achara. And Tanuja is going to explain those dimensions of lifestyle much better than me because she is our Ayurveda expert. And in yoga way of life, we have this dimension of harmony, love, and peace, calmness, tranquility, all brought about in our lifestyle. For that, Swami Vivekananda has codified all the streams of yoga into 4 main streams: Jnana Yoga, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. Either you can work with the intellect or with the willpower or with the emotions or bring it to our day-to-day activities through the Karma Yoga. And ultimately, whatever we do in terms of the Ashtanga Yoga or the Bhakti Yoga or the Jnana Yoga, it is to come into our day-to-day action. And that is the dimension. And to convert every karma into a yoga is the Karma Yoga. Hey, how is it ever possible? Walking, eating, drinking, excreting, urinating, everything can be yoga. It looks impossible. You always think yoga is to do some asanas or pranayama or meditation, other things. But Krishna Bhagavan gives you that wonderful sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Look at that. Pashyan shrunvan sprushan tighran ashnan gachan swapan shwasan pralapan visrujan grunhan unmishan nimishan napi indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. Seeing, hearing, talking, eating, tasting, and excretion, urination, everything can be converted into yoga. If you know that secret of conversion of the practices into yoga. What is the secret? This is the one that has been postulated. Yogastaha kuru karmani, sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. As Krishna says, attune to that self, do all activities. How to do that? It's a very special way of doing action. I call it as a dual mode operation. When you look at the mind, we have the gross mind and the subtler mind. When we are all hearing this thing, probably something deep within of some of the people whose parents or somebody is COVID positive or in the hospital and the thing, the inner layer of the mind goes on thinking, what is happening to my father? He has gone into this thing, COVID, whether he's in the last days, this thing, what's going to happen, whether he can come out or not. Inner layer of the mind is in deep distress and these things. Outside you may be hearing, doing all activities. So these are the 2 layers of the mind, the gross and the subtle. What Krishna says the inner layer of the mind should be completely in that silence, tranquility, peace, blissful awareness. So it is action in relaxation, to do all activity in blissful awareness. The inner layer of the mind in that beautiful tranquility, that's called the Yogastha Sthiti. Karmani akarmaya pashyet, it said. In doing actions, you always tune yourself to the akarma sthiti, the silence and the tranquility inside. This is how we can convert every action into a yoga. And today, we have that wonderful opportunity to go deeper and deeper. And I know in London, one of our very close friends, his emergency surgeon, he got into this COVID, he was hospitalized, and after a little treatment, he came back, he was quarantined, he was in the house arrest, in a sense, and he became so restless. He was a very dynamic man, always moving from morning till night, helping in the hospital and doing emergency surgeries and everything. And now he is locked in, and he started feeling so restless and full of anxiety. When is it going to end? When is it going to end? What a thing that's happened, all stress. Then he remembered and sent our things and said, they have two options. One, to worry like this thing, become anxious, become afraid, and worry more and more. You know what's going to happen. Our immune system is going to get worse. Another option we have is to utilize this time to calm down the mind, silence the mind, tranquil the mind, and slow deeping. And he started working on that thing, and amazing things. Just in one day, he started becoming so comfortable, so wonderful, happy, full of happiness and bliss. And he started using pranayam, slow breathing, and wonders started happening. And he says, that brought me a new dimension in my life and started going deeper and deeper in this time. Similar things are happening in many places, and people who are even on the deathbed have been able to come out of that because of the use of yoga in this thing. So what yoga does is to bring out the deep relaxation at the body level, slowing down of the breath, thereby the metabolic rate reduces and gives very deep rest, and calming down of the mind through meditation, which can calm down the mind and remove all the anxieties and fears and brings an emotional stability, samatvam yoga vichyate, and at the highest level you have the proper knowledge of the pramana. In yoga says that we have pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, sprutayaha, the 5 dimensions of the mind, in which pramana is the right knowledge, viparya is the wrong knowledge. So if you have a wrong knowledge, you are in trouble. What is that wrong knowledge? A person gets jaundice, he thinks the whole world has become yellow. Seeing a ghost in a post, seeing a serpent in a rope, these are the viparya dimension. Similarly, our immune system has an intelligence within us. It can clearly recognize who is the enemy, who is a friend. This is the mandate of any army. And destroy the enemies and then support the friends. But if the viparya takes over, then you have the problem. It gets attracted. Hey, look at that. That coronavirus, I finally tell, it is so beautiful, so spherical, full of spikes. And come on, come in. And you are my good friend. Then you have the problem. This is called viparya. So the viparya also can cause. All these things happen because of the stressful lifestyle. And therefore, the solution is to have a wonderful lifestyle of harmony, peace, love, and the karma yoga dimension. And God has given us all an opportunity to stay home and be with the family. And therefore, rightly, our Honorable Prime Minister gave us the mandate this year, stay home and do yoga. And this is a great opportunity using the yoga dimension. If you do that, our whole system will prevent the COVID spread on one front, and also see that we develop our family values, which has been missing, and brings the life into a joyful life, a happy life, and full of health. That is the way of life that yoga offers. So with this, we'll be able to face the new challenges that we are facing today. And therefore, it's a great opportunity that COVID has provided us, and converting difficulties into opportunity is the ways of the wise. And we become stronger in the whole encounter and face the things and see that we develop the real values of our Indian wisdom base, the yoga value-based things. As Swami Vivekananda said, India will not be made if we build skyscrapers. India will not be made if we make India a defense superpower. It will not be made if you make India economic superpower. When will India be made? He said that we have to take India to its roots the values for which it stands. That is renunciation, service of the twin ideals of nation. In our frontized thing with silence and calmness, we are full of activity and help others, share others, develop the Prema Bhava. Prema Bhava is the wonderful way of giving and giving and giving. As the proverb goes, a friend in need is a friend indeed. In normal friendship, always there is expectation of a return. But in the real friendship, there is no expectation. You go on giving and giving and giving. We have got our doctors, nurses, everybody, and they are completely devoting themselves, dedicating themselves to help and serve others. And that has been the one which has been highly applauded by our Prime Minister. And on that day, he said everybody will facilitate and felicitate such people who have devoted themselves. And he said, let us all clap on that night. And what a remarkable thing that happened in the consciousness field, global consciousness field. There was a change that started coming up. So when all of us work together with the yoga dimension, certainly there's going to be a big change in the global consciousness field. Today it can be measured by using the special technique called random event generator. And using this REG developed in the Princeton University, we can measure what is happening at the global level, and thereby you'll be able to see how there is going to be a change. A big change is necessary at the global level to bring about the transformation and to face this COVID spread all over the world. And this has also given us an opportunity to work together as one whole, and yoga is the one that can bridge, as rightly said by our Charanjit Ji, that we will be able to work together as one whole. Vasudha eva kutumbakam, that is the objective of yoga and spirituality. That's what yoga is to be brought forth, uniting the individuals to the all-pervasive, putting all the countries together and building the small family into a huge global family. And that is being accomplished in a sense, and we all have to work together. I'm really so happy and delighted that the London High Commission and also Nehru Center have joined together again to celebrate IDY on this very auspicious day. I congratulate you, sir, Charanjit Singh Ji, and also Tripathi Ji, for bringing us and to share with our thoughts on this very auspicious day. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad, Yamuna Ji, and all the dedicated team working for the success of this thing. I wish all the best for the success. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Guruji Nagendra Ji. We are so honored by your your words of wisdom has helped everyone out here. I can see the comments coming in, and your kind words for the High Commission and the Nehru Center, sir, will be ऐसा हिंदी में कहते हैं हमारे सराखों पर. Thank you so much. Before I I introduce our next honored guru who will be taking us through the so much of the subtler meanings of yoga. If I may just make a housekeeping announcement. There is a reason why we're just muting everyone, because at times there are disturbances which may disturb our honorable gurus. So any of you who have questions, please post them in the chats out here, and Yamuna Ji at the end will scroll through them and ask those questions to Guruji Nagendra Ji and Guruji Tanuja Nesri Ji as well. Thank you so much. And if I may introduce our next thing, there's this wonderful Sanskrit line I heard once, Vidwan Sarvatra Pujyate, and I don't, that knowledgeable people, scholars are worshipped and honored everywhere, all over the world. And I don't think I can think of a better person where that line applies to than Professor Tanuja Nesri Ji. She has completed her MD and PhD in Ayurvedic pharmacology from Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar. Currently, she is working as director as well as head division of translational research and biostatic at All India Institute of Ayurveda, Government of India, New Delhi. She is also a chair for Health Sector Sub-Skill Council for Ayush under MOA, Government of India. She has worked as CEO, National Medicinal Plant Board, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. She is a university-approved Ayurveda professor with 29 years of experience of teaching in Dravya Guna and Rasastra Shastra and research. She has successfully completed 21 clinical research projects as a principal investigator. She's a principal investigator on the joint collaborative project of AIIA with UK College of Medicine UK and Prince Charles Foundation right here in the UK on assessment of holistic Ayu Yoga module in the patients suffering from fibromyalgia at the UK through High Commission of India and MOA Government of India. Dr. Nesri has published 74 original papers and 91 review articles in index journals and has authored and edited 15 books in English and regional languages, including Marathi. Sometime in life, I am going to have to approach Professor Tanuja ji and ask her how is she so productive in writing. But before that, if I may request you, Guruji Tanuja ji, if you can address this audience with your knowledge.
Thank you, Director Nehru Center, Sri Amrish Tripathi ji. I really for introduction in a very nice words, and I really feel privileged and honored to be a part of 6th International Yoga Day celebration. I'm really honored that I'm presenting before High Commission of India, who is in charge, Sri Charanjit Singh ji, and technical advisor, Madam Yamuna ji, and Guru Nam Guru, Sri Nagendra ji, हमारे गुरु जी हैं, and all the learned audience and entire staff and the faculty of High Commission of India and Nehru Center and the esteemed audience. At the outset, from Ministry of Ayush and All India Institute of Ayurveda, from where I belong, I would like to extend our greetings for 6th International Yoga Day, and we wish you healthy and happy life. And the reason, Sri Amrish Tripathi ji, why we are so productive, because we try to live Ayurveda and we try to live Ayurveda and yoga as the blessings from Honorable Guruji, Sri Nagendra ji, what he said that for mental health, harmony, and the physical health, yoga and Ayurveda is the solution for the comprehensive holistic health. And that's what the message, the scientific relevance of the understanding of Ayur Yoga, why it is so important and how we should do and how we simplify and how we inculcate in our day-to-day practice so that the fear of corona and we can really come out with this corona crisis and this pandemic. And there are again the solutions for the corona, but from All India Institute of Ayurveda, what we are doing and what ministry is doing to fight this corona pandemic. And we are really optimistic and hopeful that we'll come out with the holistic package where we can not only give the solution, not from only illness to wellness, but as Ayurveda says that it is a knowledge of healthy and happy life, we will also offer happiness also. And it's a NABH accredited quality medical service. It is a aims for Ayurveda. So I just would like to clarify here that Ayurveda, Ayush, it is a traditional system, but we wish to have a mainstream medicine. It is a future of the medicine. And when we say that the future of the medicine is no medicine, maybe Ayurveda and yoga, which when we inculcate diet, lifestyle, yoga and some supplements, I think we can better offer the immune boosting, strengthen the immunity and the holistic package. And what we are doing here, as I would like to highlight that this is a postgraduate and research institute. When we say that the traditional wisdom, there is an experiential basis, but for each and every question, even if we say drink hot water, the people ask us where is the scientific relevance? What is the evidence that the corona, it is against the corona? So we are trying here to create an evidence through our postgraduate research and training program to each and everything. What we say, what we practice, we have the evidence and the documentation, and that's what I would like to say here. Charak says that what is the Ayurveda? Is the swasthasya swastharakshanam and aturasya vikara prashmanam. That is, it is to maintain and promote the health of the healthy person and completely cure the illness of a diseased person. And as I rightly mentioned, it is the journey from illness to wellness, and that would lead to happiness if we practice Ayurveda and yoga together. And coming to in this corona crisis, what I would like to mention here is when the entire world is fighting and there is no solution in any pathy, may it be allopathy, may it be homeopathy, Unani, Ayurveda, or any pathy, there is no at present sure shot medicine, no solution, nor the vaccine. The entire world is fighting with the empirical evidences. Many researches are undertaken even along with our MOU partner UK College of Medicine and HCI. We are also coming out with a research project which we can really assess the prophylactic and preventive measures through NHS in corona crisis. But for the first time in 200 years in the history of the medical system, no pathy, all the pathies are on the equal plane. Because when we say that the Ayurveda is a preventive and prophylaxis, but in other pathies also, there is no solution. There is no solution for the other pathies also. And that's how, what is the solution we have to do? It is the homeostasis. It is the immunotherapy, and we have to boost up our immune status so that we do not become the prey of the infection, and that's how we are doing in our through the Ayurvedic measures. Yeah. So why Ayurveda in this? And when we say that the body's defense mechanism, that the Ayurveda, the question is whether the Ayurveda has a solution for boosting the immunity, because better prevention is always better than cure. So is there a solution in Ayurveda? Yes, Ayurveda is the main, what we can say, the mainstream medicine for boosting the immunity. And when we say that the immunity is a mental, physical and spiritual health. Research says that when there is a weak immunity is weak, that also leads to anxiety and the phobia and the depression. And when the immune system becomes strong, then the person becomes mentally strong also. So the Ayurveda measures, including diet, lifestyle, and the supplement, should be used. Why? Because of the simplicity. You can use it from your home, from your kitchen, from your home remedies, from your kitchen garden. It is affordable, yes, and it is acceptable because it has a history of 5,000 years. So the safety is ensured, the quality has to be ensured. And when you say that the Ayurvedic measures can positively influence mental health and immune functions through modulating psycho-neuro-immuno pathways, that's the research says. And that's how we have to use the Ayurveda measures. And in the COVID management, it is said that when there is no solution, then what is the line of management? Then there is a research and the review says that it is from the University of Cambridge, and it is said that when there is no drug and all the empirical evidences like azithromycin, amaprevil and many more coming in the market. But first what we have to do is to prevent the virus entry into our cell, stopping its replication. If it gets into our cell, then and if it is replicated, then reduce the damage that occurs to our tissue. At 3 level, I have a question and I have a solution also from Ayurveda. Yes, we can do along with yoga all these 3 levels, and that's why if I go quickly to this, within 1 minute. This is the cycle where we this is the cycle of the COVID, where we say that it is the corona, which is RNA, and it is not a living, but it binds to the human cell where it starts replicating, and through replicating then the cascade of inflammation and the immune starts, and immune response starts, and that is called as a cytokine war. It is the war, ye jung hai from our within our immune system and with the virus, and that is the inflammation and the fever and the sore throat and many other cough cold are the symptoms where it says that the inflammatory markers are raised, and then ultimately damages to the target organ, that is the lung, respiratory system, kidney, inflammation, and the brain also, thrombosis, hypoxia, and that leads to the stroke. And I must say here that Ayurveda has a solution through our boosting the immunity and the measures like daily regimen gargling. It prevents the entry of the virus when it remains 4 days in the throat through the gargling with saline and the turmeric. It reduces the inflammation and it prevents the virus to bind the cell, and the replication is also inhibited. And when, if at all it is symptomatic, then the rasayana rejuvenation helps in preventing the damage. And that's why the immunomodulatory herbs play an important role in this testing time. And along with that, what Ayurveda metaphor says that Ayurvedic prophylactic measures, then there is a symptom management, and most important is a immunomodulation. Ayurveda says this condition, considers this condition because it has a legacy and history of treating this condition for thousands of years. In the past, 100 years back, when there was a cholera, when there was a plague, Ayurvedic physicians have treated under the umbrella as a Janapadodvamsa Vyadhi. It is a Janapad when the entire community is invaded, then infected, then it is only the immunity. Those who have the strong immunity system can really help, and they can really prevent the infection, and that's why Ayurvedic immunoboosters are very important. I'm really happy and proud to say that when the entire world was in the lockdown, and still many countries and the many part of the world are still in the lockdown, and when there is no access to anyone for any drug and no solution, the Ministry of Ayush is the first ministry which notified the preventive guideline, prophylactic management, and those are only home care measures. So from the kitchen, whatever is the cinnamon, ginger, black pepper, and the tulsi and the raisins, you make the herbal tea, and that has the antiviral and the immunoboosting and antioxidant effect. And I must share you, because I was also involved and a part of these preventive measures developing this guideline, where a simple warm water that really helps, and that weakens the activity of the virus inside the system. And the spices like turmeric, when we say that we start your day with the golden water and conclude with your golden milk, and that's how we added. And along with that, more important was on International Yoga Day. I must say that 2 months back, ministry notified this, along with these simple measures, home care measures, you start practicing yogas and pranayam and meditation, because that improves the respiratory immunity, and at least for 30 minutes. And some are the measures for immune boosting, amalaki, aula, Indian gooseberry, which is the chavanprasha, can be taken, and simple Ayurvedic measures. Let me tell everyone, all the dignitaries, that the nasal instillation of 1 drop of oil, that really helps in preventing the entry of the virus into the system, because that fat layer, any oil, it may it be mustard, may it be sesame, may it be coconut, may it be olive, whatever, oil lipid layer must be formed inside the nostril. That prevents the entry of the virus and the binding of the virus to the nasal mucosa and the internal epithelium. So these are the simple measures mentioned in Ayurveda. And then oil pulling, that is, you just take 1 glass of warm water, add 1 teaspoonful of oil and just pull it, keep it in the mouth in the morning. That's called as Kavalagraha. So all these are the simple measures. And everyone asked us, where is the evidence? When you say these are the prophylactic measures, are there evidences? So each and every word, each and every sentence, what is a part of the notified has minimum hundreds and of the paper of publication. Just simple, the gargling. What is the effect of the gargling, saline gargling and the turmeric gargling? And all PubMed papers are the part of this, and that has become the simple advisory. That's what we had ordered. And the tulsi leaves inhalation, when there is a cough, congestion, common cold, just have the water, boiling water, and inhale the tulsi leaves. And the paper says that the inhalation reduces the signs and symptom of cough and cold, and adult in selected areas. So these are some of the research. Following that, I'm really happy to say that measures, then the modified the guidelines for the conducting research, because entire world wants evidence. This experience and documentation. So ministry has proactively started many more research papers based on GCP guidelines, international guidelines of the research, and that is the guideline for the Ayurveda clinical studies, guideline research guidelines, and those have been vetted by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Department of Health Research, ICMR and CSIR, and the ministry had constituted a task force, and the task force collectively, all the scientists from the and the Ayurveda practitioners, they have come out with the practitioners guidelines and the research guidelines, and that those are on the ministry's website. And it is not only the prevention, but Ayurveda is also for the active management. And I'm really happy to share that there are now officially authenticated, reviewed by peers of the scientists and the physicians, and those guidelines for the Ayurveda practitioners are also available, which includes all the groups from asymptomatic to symptomatic, from the mild symptom management, and more important, because in England, I'm really happy, we are really glad that it is the peak is going down, and now everyone is really thinking about boosting the immunity and restorative health. So we have included these guidelines as a restorative health, and through this Vyadhi Kshamatva, immunity, it is the capacity to restrain and withstand the strength of the disease, and the what is called as the resistance power against the disease, and the innate immunity, overall strength of the body to fight any infection, especially in corona. And this is the main strength of Ayurveda. Ashtanga Ayurveda, 8 branches. One branch is immunity. It is a Jara and Rasayan, and that is the gift from the Ayurveda to the entire humanity across the globe. And through this immune boosting time-tested measure, what we did, it is a generic 1-page protocol, which is a time-tested, and it has each and every word has got the evidence, scientific evidence, and we have made one chart, one graph where Google spreadsheet where pre-infection, what we do as a measure, gargling with haldi, Giloy simple, Tinospora cordifolia, then decoction are nanimas, dadimas, nuska, traditional herbal tea, which is from spices, kitchen spices, including cinnamon, cardamom, black pepper, ginger. That is the kada twice daily herbal tea you have to make. Then some of the measures and nasal instillation, then asymptomatic, mild symptoms, moderate, severe symptoms. And this is the red zone, because we know our limitation. And that's we say that we have to integrate, and we have to integrate with the conventional medicine and also our own system like yoga and Ayurveda, 2 sides of a single coin. But I would like to highlight for the rehabilitation. restorative health, 3 plants, simple plants, Aula, Guduchi and Gopshur. That is combination, it's called as Rasayan Churna. And I'm really happy to share that all of us in India, in this institution, all our staff, we are taking this Rasayan Churna and Sanchimani Vati 2 times a day and herbal decoction, and God's grace, we have been saved by Ayurvedic immune boosters today. And this is the scientific evidences. Quickly, I'll just go through the evidences, and maybe because the time constraint, but I'll highlight each and every role of these immunomodulators. And I'm really happy to share that if you Google search and the PubMed, each and every plant, what we say, what the Ayurvedic classical encyclopedias and the physicians are using, for all those, many of those, there is a scientific evidences like ashwagandha is an antioxidant, rejuvenator, and immunomodulators, because here is the inflammation, anti-inflammatory, also how we need, and to reduce the fear and anxiety, the mental soothing plants also we are required. So this is the ashwagandha, then bala, pipali, piper longan, aula, giloi, shatavari, and brahmi. I am going to each and every plant in detail, in nutshell. But one prescription, Chawanprash, which is really sold as a OTC, rejuvenator and antioxidant, uh, because of its anti-aging, immunomodulatory, anti-inflammatory, and even antiviral property of the Aula, and hundreds of papers are published on Chawanprash. So I just will say Aula a day keeps doctor away. Maybe you can take Chawanprash every day, at least 1 teaspoonful, 5 to 10 grams early in the morning. I think that will save everyone. And there is a research and documented evidence through Ayurveda Sanjeevani app that the states and the region where people are taking Chawanprash as a daily routine, they have faced the number of the corona crisis, positive patients are less. And these are the published some of the papers. And the second is the Guduchi, Tinospora cordifolia, that is a amruta. Name itself is a nectar, and this stem powder and the leaf juice can be used, and the Ministry of Ayush has promoted this single herb powder in this corona crisis as a, we have given to the 80,000 large cohort, and in many states this has been used, and this has got immunomodulatory. It is a cost effective, anywhere it can grow, or like a amruta, like a nectar, it does not die, and there is a nature signature that it does not allow any cell to die, and that's why immunostimulatory action, this should be used. And the same is the Aula, like other than the immunoprotection, it has got cytoprotective, that is it has got action on the DNA repair, it protects the cell damage. So in restorative health, Aula is of important choice, and the same results like immunostimulant activity is screen, aloe vera. Next is in line is the aloe vera, the pulp. If you take it with turmeric, it will protect from the pneumonia, in the cough, cold, and also improve the immunity, and it is good for the liver, for improves the digestion. So maybe you, if you do not have anything, you can have aloe vera gel with turmeric in the morning for the immunostimulant, and follows this golden latte, golden milk, and it is known for its curcumin, known for anti-inflammatory. More important in this way to prevent the entry and to prevent its replication of the virus, because it prevents, Ayurveda says that it has got lecanic property, so it prevents the binding of the virus to the living cell inside the body. That's why everyone is really who have the fear to get exposed to corona, maybe in the evening you do have a gargling and take some curcumin, not curcumin but the turmeric as a whole, with milk or with water or with honey, but it has the activity with against the corona group of virus, so it may be proved as a potent. And with Avla, And with Giloy Pipali, one of the ingredients of a trikatu is also very important. Sunthi Mericha Pipali, trikatu with honey. If you take in the morning as a trikatu, three spices together, pinch of that, that will save you from sore throat, cough, cold, and body ache, and also the fear of getting infected with the corona. And there are many others like the nutrients like shatavari, that is asparagus racemosus. It is a nutritive. When there is a myalgia, fatigue, pain, I think this is the immunoboosting, immunostimulant, and the nutritive. Asparagus, it is a wild asparagus where in the Europe the edible asparagus is shoots are used and we use the roots as a medicinal property, but that's also important. And very popular and the famous is a Vitis vinifera draksha, resin, currants, and its immunomodulatory action, antioxidant effect, and against the uh, virus, antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial effect is very important. And I must say here that there are three plants which I mentioned as a immunomodulator. Those are daily herbal health promoter. One is Avla, second is Guruchi, and the third is Draksha. That is a resin, Munakka Kishmish. So if you really are afraid, and it is a soothing also, mental soothing also, you can take this, and you can add garlic and the spices, cumin and other in your daily diet. And as Guruji mentioned that the diet should be sattvic, TTSS, that is a timely, taja, freshly prepared food. Samay pe, timely, that means morning 8 to evening 8, and easy to digest, supacha, but you add some spices of your taste. It should not be too spicy, too bland, but some bit of spice you can to your vegetable and to your salad. And then comes a potential herb, that is Andrographis paniculata, Calame, Nobel Prize winner, but this has also potential for the research. And the Tulsi is a holy basil, which has got antiviral, antibacterial, immunomodulatory, antioxidant, and inflammatory effect. And the last one, which is the Yashti Madhu, Glycyrrhiza, because this is also very good plant from the complementary alternative medicine. Many complementary system, including Ayurveda, we use Yashti Madhu, Glycyrrhiza, Mulethi in Hindi it is called, and this is also a potential herb to be added. It has got the sweetish taste. It's not the bitter, and it is a palatable also, and it is also immunoboosting. So anything, and the ashwagandha, because ministry has selected 4 candidates as Yashti Madhu, Mulethi, then Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera, then the third is Guduchi and Avla for testing, clinically, scientifically testing its immune boosting effect, and it has got the potential for coming out as a potential drug candidate, immunomodulator for fighting against corona, and maybe we'll come out with some solutions together. And there is a list of the herbs, antivirals from Ayurveda and from conventional medicine. I'm sharing this PPT with Madam Yamunaji, so may you may take this, copy this, and these are the published, and hundreds of Triphala, Trikatu, Kiratatikta, Bel, Nirgundi, and many herbs which can be used, and anyone with your choice and whatever availability and feasibility, you can definitely add these immunomodulators into your diet and the lifestyle. And some of the activities what we are doing in corona crisis at the hospital all India, I would like to say here, when Janapad, when there is a crisis and the entire air is polluted, water and the desha is polluted, one measure is a Havan. Havan is a herbal fumigation, and that really purifies the environment, and that's what we are doing. We are measuring scientific, it is our proposal to measure the scientific, the air quality, and that really gives you mental soothing, spiritual health, but at the same time, it purifies the environment also. So the herbal sanitizers and others are also in place, but this is the one measure in pandemic, one should adopt along with the internal purification. External purification also should be done. And two important projects, what we have done as a public health initiative and in the research mode. Within last 2 months, those who are frontline corona warriors, to boost up their immunity, we have given this immune kit, which includes Chyawanprash and Guduchi Vati and the oil for nasal instillation as a physiological mask to each of 80,000 police people in Delhi, and that is really help them to boost up the immunity. Scientific dashboard scientifically, and even corona dashboard also tells that the percentage of the recovery is more than 60% and percentage of getting infected is also very less, and the death is below 1%. So this is the success story in the public health. And now All India Institute scientifically, our youngsters and entire committed team of the scholars, doctors, and our all dedicated nursing staff, we have converted our non-communicable word into communicable word. And this is the Atmanirbhar Bharat. What our Honorable Prime Minister said, that you have to help yourself. And what novel we are doing here, that we have developed a holistic protocol which includes yoga as a necessary part, Havan as a necessary part, decoction as a necessary part, food, healthy food, sattvic food, samatol ahar, and the rest, and the mental counseling with the music, yoga, sangeet, and the prayers. And this holistic protocol, we are going to bring out as a time-tested, scientifically validated solution for the physical, mental, and spiritual health. And I'm really proud and happy to share that our proposal and the collaboration and the interest of HRH Prince Charles for these immunomodulators from Ayurveda, and was well appreciated with our Honorable Prime Minister of India. And this is a part of our collaboration. So we are going to take it further, and we wish to take it further and help the people and the citizens of the West and the Europe through the immune boosters. What is the success story in India? We want to replicate there, and I'm sure we can do better than anyone else can. And at the end, what I would like to say, it is not Ayurveda, it is not yoga, but it is Ayurveda yoga is a complete solution for the holistic health of mind, body, and spirit. Thank you one and all for patient listening. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Tanuja ji. This was a wonderful presentation. You said it yourself in in your program that you're sharing it with Yamuna ji, because that was going to be my first suggestion. Because the Nehru Center would really, I know I speak for everyone and everyone will do their own addition, but we would really like to explore how we could use the, the expertise and the knowledge of the All India Institute of Ayurveda with partners in the UK and spread this knowledge. For the good of humanity. We have to do work for the good of India, but our ancestors always had an attitude that we must not only help ourselves, we must help the entire world. And we will certainly take this up. And Tanuja ji, if you could please share the presentation with us at the Nehru Center as well. We would like to send it out to our followers and share it on our Facebook pages and our website as well. Thank you so much.
Surely. Thank you.
And thank you so much for this wonderful presentation and deeply insightful and knowledgeable presentation. And the fact that you backed it all up with such deep scientific evidence. Yamuna ji, if I could request you to go through question and answers. I suspect that we'll not be able to take more than 2 or 3. Charanjit ji, the acting high commissioner, had to leave because he had another program. As you know, this is a busy day. But Yamuna ji, if you could just run through perhaps 2 or 3 questions and then give your word of thanks, and that will call us to a conclusion of the program. Just to introduce to all of you, Yamuna ji, Ms. Yamuna SV is a councillor TAD at the High Commission of India in the UK, and a valued colleague, and was an inherent and intrinsic part of the organization of this International Day of Yoga, along with all other colleagues, the direction of the Acting High Commissioner Charanjit Singh, Manmeet Singh ji, Minister God, my colleague Brij Guhare, Amarjit, and various, all of us work together to put this project up. Yamuna ji, if you could please take up the question answers, and then with your vote of thanks, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Amish ji. Thanks for that. Namaskar, and good evening to all the guests who have joined us from India, and good afternoon to the guests joined from UK. Due to paucity of time, as Amish ji has pointed out, we'll not be able to take up all the questions. As I had already written in the chat box, please post your question with your email IDs and we'll get back to you.
Good. Dhanyavad.
You have not answered that the secret behind your.
Hello? Am I audible? Yeah. I'll be taking few questions which had come now. In case if further questions, I request all the guests to please put it in the chat box. We are saving the chat box and we'll be sending it to the speakers, and we'll get back to you in the email IDs provided. See, the first question is like, will Ayurveda enhance the immunity for people with diabetes, blood pressure, cancer, and other underlying medical conditions? May I request Tanuja ji to take this question, please?
Yes, it's really a very good, relevant question. In comorbid condition, especially with diabetes, Ayurveda is the main, has a strength in non-communicable diseases. So in diabetes, what I would request and suggest is take Aula with turmeric, Aula and Haldi together with warm water morning and evening. And with hypertension, Ashwagandha at night, and with Brahmi and other herbs would be useful. But Ayurveda has a strength to improve the immunity in these conditions.
Thank you, madam, and I hope it's answered. The second one is on self-care immunity building program in schools. It was asked by one of our guests from New Delhi. May I request Guruji to take up this?
Please repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
So one of our guests has asked whether how do they implement self-care immunity building programs in schools?
Yeah. In fact, to bring yoga into the school level, into the field of education. And the key aspect to be brought forth in our education system is to make our children learn the art of calming down the mind. See, in gaining mastery over the mind, there are 2 dimensions. One is to make the mind faster mind, quicker mind, sharper mind, brilliant mind, energetic mind, faster, faster, faster. Another is to calm down the mind, silence the mind, tranquil the mind, go to deep peace. The whole education system is only dealing with the first one and not the second. As a result, we have grown gigantic. When I look at the children, they're so dynamic. I feel so proud about them. But I ask them to sit quiet, calm for 5 minutes. That's the biggest punishment we give them. Because it's not their mistake, it's our mistake in the education system. So we have to bring in this dimension of calmness, peace, silence, tranquility, and that's the one that brings bliss. So because of that imbalance, the imbalance goes down and they become so bored and so full of anxiety, tension, and lead to depression and other things. So we have to remedy at that level, at the mind level. This is what Patanjali has given us. Mana prashamana upayaha yogaha, as Vasishtha says, that is calming down the mind. Prashamana is a beautiful word in the Sanskrit. Shama is to calm down the mind. Prakarshen shamayati iti prashamanam. Deeply tranquil the mind. Deeply do that. So we have developed simple techniques for them to achieve this thing. Both these dimensions have to meet harmoniously in our education system. So no doubt we have to develop the sharpness, brilliance, intelligence, creativity of the children. But we have to do the other dimension also. In fact, if you calm down the mind, silence the mind, all these factors are going to increase. We started implementing in the schools way back in 1976 itself in Arunachal Pradesh. And since then, we have developed a number of schools curriculum, and we have developed special personality development programs. So physical, mental, emotional, intellectual dimension. From class 1 to class 10, we have got 10 different integrative modules we have developed. The results have been wonderful. That's what we have to bring into education system. And in the name of yoga, we have to develop total personality of the children, not merely make them intellectual giants or innovative or creative people alone. You know? That's how we can be able to maintain the health, harmony, peace in the society. You know? Otherwise, we may become like Rakshasas. You know? Ravana also was a great intellectual giant, and with all the power and other things and the tapas and others, what did he do? He was flattering. This is not what we should not do. We should bring in the dimension on both sides. This is what yoga offers.
Thank you, Guruji, for that apt answer. One more question for Dr. Tanuja. Our guest has asked, is agarbatti also good instead of havan?
Actually, agarbatti, if it is made without chemicals and if it is made with the havan samagri like neem and other vacha and other herbs, medicated herbs, I think instead of havan, you can use as a practical purpose. You can use instead of agarbatti, there are dhoop stick, dhoop candles. That can be the substitute for the havan.
Thank you, Dr. Nesri. One last question to Guruji. If there was one change in our life that you would recommend as the priority, whether in terms of Ayurveda or yoga, what would that one thing be that we should do?
Good question. For both yoga and Ayurveda, it is a way of life. And I call it in yoga, it's called Santosha, one of the niyamas. You know, Patanjali says, Santoshat Anuttama Sukhalabhaha. To be happy all the time is real yoga. And if you can maintain that Santosha under all adverse situations, whether it's success or failure, under all circumstances, maintain that inner pause, tranquility, peace, and that satisfaction and calmness, that's the dimension. You know? That's the one that is needed. Today, in his brilliant address, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned about this dimension, saying that we have to maintain that equipoise, balance, and see that we face all difficulties. Maintaining the balance under all adverse situations, whether it's success or failure, whether it's the excitement or the depression situation that can do, but maintain equanimity. And he is a role model for all of us. And see, amidst all such adversities, he has been able to maintain that calm, energy, brilliant sharpness, and he's becoming such a role model, which everybody can look at him as the thing. That's why the whole world is looking at India to do that. And he says that whenever he meets the leaders of different countries, they all ask, can you teach me yoga? He says, I'm not a yoga teacher. He's only a practitioner. He has brought that into his life. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Thanks for that answer. As I mentioned earlier, due to paucity of time, we'll not be able to take further questions. But yes, we have saved all the chats and we'll get back to you. One common question that had been coming from lot is the presentation material. As Amishji has mentioned, Dr. Nesri has already shared slides with us. And since your email IDs are with us, we'll mail it to the people who have requested for it. Anyways. Now we come to the end of the interactive session. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this session today. Before that, I just wanted to say that as part of this International Yoga Day this year, High Commission and the Nehru Center had been conducting various events for almost 4 days. This is the final day. We had yoga for children, yoga for NHS personnel, and then yoga for elders. 3 consecutive days for an hour by reputed speakers on all the days, and we had a lot of people attending. Almost 400 to 500 people in Zoom and Facebook have joined us. So first of all, I would like to thank a big thanks for all the participants and our guests who have joined us in this full journey of Yoga Day celebrations at the High Commission. As it was a challenge to do all this e-celebrations for the first time, as we're all getting used up to this new way of working. So we did face challenges, but yes, of course, without the support of guests, it wouldn't have been possible. It was a wonderful event that we had for since a week's time. And I take this privilege to extend special thanks to Guruji. Of course, it was a wonderful lecture, Guruji. You had given us, enlightened our knowledge about how yoga can improve the mental health, and especially during this need of hour when we say lockdown and so many things, pandemic going on. So I'm sure everyone is going to benefit from that. And we pray what you were mentioning. I think all of us will follow all those things, and I'm sure it's going to help plenty of them to, you know, look into the stress modulation techniques, what you had mentioned about during your talk. Thanks, Guruji, once again. And of course, I extend very big thanks to Professor Tanuja Nesri because I am very closely working with her in that project. So we had been associated. So all my little bit of knowledge on yoga, though being from defense, I owe to her. Of course, as she had rightly mentioned, Ayur Yoga. It's a program that is going on, and it's a combined thing. So of course, I am sure your slides were quite informative, and it's going to benefit a lot of people. And I'm sure Atmanirbhar Bharat will be fulfilled by that. And lastly, I would like to thank our High Commission and Nehru Center officers and staff who have extensively helped us in making this week-long program a great success. I will not be able to mention everybody, but the whole team, entire team at High Commission and Nehru Center were behind this program to make it a huge success. And to conclude it, I would say, as what Guruji has mentioned, happy all the time. And it was a great morning to start a day or Sunday. And I'm sure all of us will follow what Guruji has said, happy all the time. With this, I conclude this session. Thank you and Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanuja.